Do we have this AI facility today?
Great goal ജയിച്ചാൽ മതി.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is.
sir, we have.
Yeah, thank you.
ഇന്ന് സി പി ലീഡർ പറയുന്ന കേട്ടോ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഈ ചെമ്പ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല, പെണ്ണ് കത്തിപ്പെടുത്തണം പഴയ സിനിമയിലേക്ക്.
So, good evening and welcome to 182nd edition of Thursday Musings. The host has muted everyone. So the panelists can unmute themselves and the questions will be invited in the chat box. So today we are having a very interesting topic, interesting learned speaker on adolescents in the digital age and its challenges. So many people will find this issue in their homes also. So it is good for you, good for your patients, good for your practice. Next slide, please. My pleasure in handing over the session to the chairman of the program, Professor Dr. Tufan Pati, sir. Sir, over to you. We can skip each other's CVs. Just Vishal's CV you can read.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alim. I shall formally mention that we have got two vibrant moderators. Dr. Alim is here, treasurer of IPS, and Dr. Amrit will join after some time as secretary of IPS. And I will continue Alim's words. It is also good for your children and children you care. Welcome, Dr. Deepak Gupta. Next slide, please.
Next slide. Sir, Vishal will be the co-moderator, so you can read his slide. I was co-moderator.
Welcome, Dr. Vishal Chabra. He is graduate and postgraduate from Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, with 21 years of experience post-training. He is currently HOD and senior consultant at Fortis Hospital, Shalimar. He is life fellow of IPS, IABP, IASP, and IAPP. He is a recipient of Ravi Pandey Memorial Award in 2006, WPA Fellowship in Child Psychiatry 2008, and Asian Federation Fellowship 2012. He has 15 published articles in index journals and 2 chapters in psychiatry textbook, besides also on Delhi University Journal related reports. He is currently the immediate past president of Delhi Psychiatric Society. He was president and vice president and general secretary of DPS and treasurer also. He is currently the co-chairman of IPS membership subcommittee, and areas of interest of Dr. Vishal Chabra involve phenomenology, mood disorders, anxiety disorders, addiction disorders, psychopharmacology, and neurobiology. Welcome, Dr. Vishal. Next slide, please.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Om Sai Ramesh from New Delhi. He has been working as professor of psychiatry at Lady Hardin Medical College, New Delhi. He has special interest in child psychiatry and obtained a PhD in child and adolescent psychiatry from NIMHANS, Bangalore. Before joining Lady Hardin in 2014, he has worked as a faculty in National Institute of Mentally Handicapped, Secunderabad for 15 years. He has published 25 research papers in national and international journals. Welcome, Dr. Sai.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Next, please. Dr. Fabian Almeida from Mumbai. A psychiatrist, counselor, and motivator as he calls himself, and he is good at it. In the mental health field, since 25 years, is making positive difference by spreading the mental health awareness, effective diagnosis and treatment, advocating support, and active involvement in abolishing associated stigma. Completed psychiatric training from GS Medical College and KM Hospital, Mumbai. Also mentored at Harvey Jones Child and Adolescent Unit of London Hospital, UK. Actively involved in organizations like IPS, IMA, BPS, and Centric Skill, OMC, and others. Conducted over 3,500 mental health seminars and workshops in schools, colleges, and corporates. Created with India's first initiatives like Mindscape, Interschool College and School Festival, Inspirations, Man Darpan, online program in COVID times, completed over 100 episodes. Welcome, Dr. Fabian.
Pleasure to be here.
And now onwards, the meeting is over to the chairpersons. And Dr. Fabian, will you introduce Dr. Deepak Gupta, esteemed speaker?
Yes, sir. It is definitely my proud privilege to introduce a stalwart like Dr. Deepak Gupta from New Delhi. He's a child and adolescent psychiatrist, founder director of CCAW, Child and Adolescent Wellbeing, chairperson, Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Committee of IAPP 2122. He's been the president for the Delhi Psychiatric Society 2014 to 2016. Host of prestigious awards and positions held, But I think what particularly brings him as the best person today to give us this session is the fact that he has one of the leading few psychiatrists who has worked with over 15,000 child and adolescent cases. So I think besides the fact that you've authored many books and papers and presented at national and international conferences, we shall not waste any more time. I will ask my co-chairperson to introduce the topic and we move ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you, sir. This is Dr. Om Sai, Professor of Psychiatry. And I am of the opinion that we cannot have any better person than Dr. Deepak Gupta to talk about this wonderful topic. And this topic is, in fact, is very pertinent in the current times. Adolescence in digital age and its challenges. And we all know, I'm sure all the participants, including the chairpersons and moderators and the office bearers who are here would agree with me if I say that this is something which would have both good and bad in it. So we will have to be very careful and we'll have to go ahead with a lot of caution, and otherwise there is a possibility that we can have impact either side, that it could have a good effect as well as bad effect. So we all know the adolescents are very vulnerable and they are very fragile and they can be influenced easily with a lot of technology issues, and definitely the digital things are definitely going to create a lot of attraction. And social media such as the Instagram, Facebook, and all these things are very much closer to the adolescents' hearts these days. And we have been hearing in our clinical setup cases such as cyberbullying and probably the problems which are faced with a lot of screen time, internet addiction. And I'm sure all of you would agree that we do have a new addition into our one of the international classification system, where it is mentioned that we do have mobile addiction mentioned there. And of course, these things will lead to a lot of mental health issues, relationship issues, and a lot of young population would be would be undergoing a lot of stress because of this, and it will have impact on their academic issues also. So I am of the opinion that when we are dealing with this kind of topic, we are not only addressing the adolescents but also the family in a larger context, as well as the community, because most of the school issues also will be affected because of this. So I am very eager as anybody else in this particular group to listen to Dr. Deepak Gupta, who would definitely be. I've been listening to him multiple times. It's always a pleasure to listen to him, and he always gives me a lot of new insights on the topic which he takes up every time. So I sincerely request Dr. Deepak Gupta to take over and start the topic. Dr. Deepak Gupta.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Felmina, and thank you, Dr. Om Sai, for your kind
Shreya,
words.
will you stop? Shreya, you can stop sharing, and Dr. Deepak, you can share your screen.
And thank you very much for the kind words, and thank you for introducing the topic, Dr. Om Sai. Yeah. First of all, thank you to the Dr. Tufan Pati, Dr. Alim, Dr. Amrit, and Dr. Vishal for inviting me. This is my second time I'm being invited to this meeting. It's my pleasure to come to this prestigious online group and present my work and my inputs. So it's always great. I've learned so many things after attending from so many speakers. It's always good to share my work. So I'll be talking on this very interesting topic about adolescent in the digital age and their challenge. Now, outline will be, I'll be introducing this topic and then the evolution over the years, especially in the last 2.5 decades, and then transformation in and across generations, and then the challenges, and some of the some of the things which we can think as a management. I've been specially asked to talk about the management part specially. So I'll try my best to how much I can, because we know that it is everywhere. And what could be the way forward? Now, we know today's adolescents are transitioning from childhood to adulthood in an era of rapid digitalization. And digital media, such as online communication platforms, applications, they are accessed through mobile phones. They're everywhere, tablets, computers. They're an important window into the world of adolescent. We also know that around 1 in 3 internet users globally are under the age of 18. So that's a big number. 1 in 3 internet users are under the age of 18. That means every third person is an adolescent who is using the technology at this point of time, which is a big number, a big population. We also know that young people often rely on smartphones to go online, but 1/3 of school-age children also have a fixed internet connection at home for multiple reasons, for their homework and other things, and rising to 88% in high-income countries. Younger people also tend to spend more time online than older generation. What has also been seen that as major users of digital media, adolescents are particularly exposed to their potential benefits and harms. So as Dr. Holmes I was talking about, there are not only challenges, but there are also a lot of benefits are also there. Interaction with digital media during this critical period of physical emotional development. We already know that adolescent is a turbulent period, a lot of developments happening, social, physical, emotional, a lot of all those chaos is happening, like a traffic signal, you know. And at that point of time, which digital media influence, it all can impact the foundation for their future well-being. That's important. So as published in a recent article in BMJ in March 2023, almost a year back, the clinician and the caretakers should be mindful of digital media use patterns. So that is a punchline. We have to be mindful. We can't ignore in today's digital world. Now, I just want to take you through this small journey, what has happened. If you see in early 2000, what happened? So in early 2000, there was a rise of social networking sites, Orkut, MySpace, which introduced the adolescent to the concepts of online profiles and social connections. Correct? Internet access became more prevalent in households, influencing how young people communicated and shared information. I still remember in late 90s when I was in Manipal doing my MD, you know, that was the first time I made my email account. I was not aware of it, but that was the time I made my first email account. So that was the time everything was coming up. Then came to mid to late 2000s, introduction of smartphone and mobile technology, such as iPhone, Android devices revolutionized technology accessibility. iPhone started coming up, iPhone 2, 3, and adolescents gained instant access to the internet, social media, and apps on their handheld devices, transforming how they interacted with technology on a daily basis. And that was a time the Gen Z concept started coming up more and more. The late 2000 to early 2010s, there were proliferation of social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. They gained immense popularity among adolescents. These platforms became integral to their social lives, shaping how they communicated, shared content, and formed online identities. Then 2010s, mid almost, the expansion of social media and digital influencer culture came. That was the time when people started talking about even generation alpha, you know, beyond Gen Z. Explosive growth of platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, emphasizing visual content and real-time sharing. Digital influencers emerged and people started talking about influencers. The young generation started saying, we want to be influencers, we want to go into that passion, that career, and that started impacting the adolescent behavior, fashion, and trends. So that was thing is that. And then late 2010, before the COVID, already people started realizing that this is impacting the mental health and screen time concerns to the point that WHO in 2019 April came out with the guidelines about the screen time. The growing concern about the impact of excessive screen time and social media use on adolescent mental health emerged. Research and public discourse highlighted issues like cyberbullying, anxiety, depression, and the need for digital detox and mindfulness. And then came COVID. Continued evolution and awareness. Technology continued to evolve rapidly with advancements in AI, virtual reality, augmented reality offering new experiences and opportunity for adolescents. While we are just talking, just now, the government of India just now approved 10,000 crore rupees for AI package, just now, few minutes back. Shifts in online behavior, such as rise of short-term video content on platforms like TikTok, Reels, the growing emphasis in privacy and data security, integration of technology into education shaped the adolescent digital experiences. Recent and dramatic changes related to COVID-19 technology use increased significantly. Youths were left with only virtual means of connection to their social networks and educational setting. There was a boom. There was an explosion, this one. Society became increasingly aware of the importance of digital literacy. People started talking about that, yes, there should be online safety, cyber safety, more and more digital literacy and mental health supports. We saw that is a time that lot of platforms, online platforms started coming for the mental health support for the young people. Young professionals started coming up. Parents and educators became more proactive in understanding and managing adolescent digital experiences. And initiatives focused on digital literacy, responsible online behavior, and providing guidance on healthy technology use became more prevalent. So this is what there was a shifting landscape. Just giving a brief background. And the various figures started coming up from all across the country. You know, the average time spent per day by teens on social media, online videos, games in India in 2022, various figures started coming up with 90% of children between 8 and 16 years in Mumbai and 81% in the country are active on the social media, a big figure. 53% children turn on location services for some or all of their social media accounts. 54% said they did not mind meeting an online acquaintance in person. 56% posted their email addresses, 50% posted their full birth date, and 42% even posted their phone numbers. So how the risky online behavior among city children. Cyberbullying almost rocking 47%, and 57% admitted to bullying others on social media. And 69% said that they have witnessed bullying, but only 33% reported. Parental involvement, this is something striking, that 83% parents were more concerned about the child's online activity because he or she has mobile device, but 75% of the city parents have never attempted to find out their child's online activity, and 41% said they don't feel it necessary. So you see the figures that how the risk increasing, but how still the parents are not involved, or if they're a little bit involved, if they're aware of it, still the attempts are not being made to become the part of their life of children. So technology and social media have both positive and negative impacts on children. It is high time to comprehend the benefits and negative effects of technology and media to utilize them effectively for the optimal growth and development of the future generation. Just one thing I want to read from that is that over 5 million Facebook users are under the age of 13, though it is illegal. And 78% of the parents help them to create their accounts. You see, though it is illegal, still the parents help them to create the accounts. That is what I wanted to highlight with this illustration. Now, moving ahead, understanding the generation gap in the digital age. This is important because this tells you how the Gen Z and the Generation Alpha became a little different from the Generation Y and Generation X, from digital natives to digital immigrants. The digital age undeniably widened the generation gap between adolescent and the older generation in several ways. And one of the things was technological proficiency. Adolescents, often referred to as digital natives, have grown up in a world immersed in technology. For them, technology is like their oxygen. They need it. They're adapted using various devices, apps, and platforms compared to older generation who may have had to adapt to these technologies later in life. So for them, it is like they need it. Communication styles, the way adolescent communicates primarily through texting, social media, emojis, it differs significantly from older generations who might prefer more traditional forms of communications, like phone calls or face-to-face conversations. By the time we will think about it, they would have texted. By the time we will try to make it, they would have messaged it and they would have got the response. They would have searched it, they would have ordered it. That is the way think is that. That's the way I've seen working with teenagers, working with adolescents. I've seen in my own daughter now the way, it happens. The cultural shift. The digital age has brought about cultural changes, new trends, memes, slangs. It's absolutely a different world that are more prevalent and understood by adolescent, which is difficult for people like digital immigrant like us, for generation X like us. I can say it's difficult for them a lot of times. The older generation might find it challenging to relate to or comprehend these cultural shifts, creating a gap in shared experience and references. When I talk to my daughter, who is just turned 20 and she's studying in New York, Columbia University, I still remember when they talk, it was so difficult for me to understand. And she used to laugh. And then she used to explain me. She used to tell me, Papa, ye aise hota hai. This is what is it. So you see, it is. So for me, I was absolutely like an alien, like for me, it's like a alien language which is coming to me. Attitude towards information. Adolescent tends to be more accustomed to seeking information online and trusting digital source. They believe that that is a right information. They can trust it. They can access it faster. They can get everything on the digital world. While older generation might rely more on the traditional media or the offline sources. We tend to talk to each other and tend to understand and then tend to find out and then tend to see and they take the steps. For them, they do it. They're quick. They're fast. They're furious. Fast and furious is a perfect word for them. The digital age has shaped social norms and values differently for adolescents compared to older generations. Views on privacy, online behaviors, work-life balance, and even concepts like fame and success might significantly differ, leading to conflicts or misunderstanding. For them, what success they get on the social platforms, what number of likes, number of likings, number of their connections, the tagging, for them it matters a lot. It matters a big way. For us, it may be different. For them, that is the world. For them, the comments, the feedbacks from the peer group, it matters a big thing. So that is where the social norms and values matter for them. Parenting and guidance. This is something very, very important. Parents and guardians from older generation might struggle to understand the challenges and risks that come with growing up in a digital world. There can be disagreement of screen time limits, online safety practices, and the impact of social media on mental health. We know the exams are coming up, 10th class boards or 12th class boards, but still they want technology. Let me share an example of one of my friend. He's a big surgeon in Delhi. His son is appearing for the 12th board exams and daughter is appearing for the 10th board exams. But he's still on technology. He's studying, but simultaneously at 4 o'clock, he has to play his games. And then he's going for exams. For the parents, it's a nightmare. He doesn't want to meet any professional. He doesn't want to consult any counselor. He says, you don't worry. You just be away from me. I'll take care of my studies. He's already been selected in one of the premier universities in Canada. He says, I will take care. Don't barge in my life. I'll play my games. I'll give my exams also. Only person who supports him and only person who can control, who can contain him, who can build a connection with him is only his grandmother, with whom he's comfortable. He sleeps with her. He studies with her. And he's quite comfortable. She's a 74-year-old lady, and she's able to work with him. So this is what is coming up. Bridging the generation gap requires efforts from both adolescent and older generations. It involves open communication, mutual respect for different perspectives, willingness to learn from each other, and finding common grounds to navigate the complexities of the digital age together. Now, there are a lot of advantages before we go to the management. A lot of advantages before we go to challenges and management. We know there's access to information. Adolescents have access to vast amount of information at their fingertips. They can easily find educational resources, research materials, tutorials, and online courses, which can enhance their learning experience and knowledge base. Communication and social connections they can connect and communicate with the peers, families, friends, regardless of geographical barriers. The world is just a fingertip away, just a click away. Social media, messaging apps, online communities provide opportunity for networking, socializing, and support. Digital tools and educational apps offer interactive, engaging learning experiences. These tools can cater to different learning styles and preferences, making learning more accessible, fun, and personalized. They can express themselves, creativity. So many adolescent teenagers who comes to me, I know they have their own channels, their own, they have their own, brands. They're able to sell, they're already earning, so they can, and that's what this digital platforms through art, music, video, blogs, podcasts, YouTube, TikToks, so many things to showcase their talents and ideas. There are numerous digital resources which are focused on health, mental health, mindfulness, fitness, and nutrition that can help them to manage stress, anxiety, and maintain healthy lifestyles. And that's what we can see about a lot of adolescents have been into meditation through various resources, young people, through the digital world. Coming to skill development, access to the online courses, tutorials, educational platforms allows adolescents to develop new skills such as coding, graphic designing, language, and more, which can be beneficial for their future careers. Digital access provides adolescents with exposure to diverse cultures, perspective, and global issues, can broaden their understanding of the world and encourage empathy and open-mindedness. So today's adolescent is more, if you see, environmentally concerned, climate concerned. They talk about so many diverse issues, and it is only because they are able to get access through all this information through the digital world. The digital era offers avenues for young entrepreneurs. We have seen a lot of young startups, young entrepreneurs coming up to start their business or initiatives online. They can create and market products or services, gaining entrepreneurial skills and experiences. So you see so much advantages are there for adolescents and the young people. And that's what attracts them. That's what sucks them into the cyber world. That is what. But there are a lot of challenges. That's what concerns the parents. There are a lot of challenges that concern the society. That's what. One of them is, the first is the content risk. Exposure to the harmful content, violent or pornographic material, discriminatory or hateful or extremist information, content that perpetuates harmful body image norms leading to body image issues, misinformation or disinformation leading to a dysfunctional thought process, and age-inappropriate marketing, involving them at a young age and then diverting them to the wrong deeds. Conduct risk. Adolescents may witness or participate or be a victim of bullying. We know very well about cyberbullying, trolling, sexual harassment, non-consensual messaging, and harmful user community like self-harming or dangerous online challenges. This is something we have seen. A lot of NSSI. So many teenagers. There are groups of teenagers who do NSSI, non-suicidal self-injury. They learn on the websites. They learn on the groups to release their emotional pain, to release their trauma, to release their agony, which they can't share with everyone, which they can't share with their parents, with their friends, and that is what. So these community, and they love to be part of it, including substance abuse. Contact risk. Adolescents may be targeted by potentially harmful adult contacts, resulting in harassment, sexual abuse, ideological persuasion, manipulation, and radicalization. And that's why we have seen some of these teenagers and be involved in various antisocial crime, antisocial activities, and various criminal activities. Contract risk, like such as identity theft, fraud, online scams, trafficking, gambling, marketing practices. And we have seen a lot of these cases which has come in the last few years in the headlines where they have been caught, but it's because of they were involved by various people and who have groomed them over the years. There's various series are there on various platforms where how they were groomed and how they were shaped into this particular sort of a thing, and they led to all these various practices. And finally, other cross-cutting risk like privacy violations, interpersonal, institutional, and commercial, negative physical and mental health impact of excessive digital media use, and inequality and discrimination resulting from level of access to digital media. So what I want to highlight with this one single slide is this, that despite increase in digital world, despite digital exposure, despite there's so many advantages, there are so many risks are there. Content risk, conduct risk, contact risk, contract risk, and other cross-cutting risk. And we as mental health professionals, We as parents has to be absolutely aware of it. Awareness is the most important thing. We just can't put it under the carpet. When I work with teenagers and adolescents, and when they tell it, what has happened to them, how they have learned, how they have been abused, how they have been involved in various crimes which nobody is aware of, how they have been harming which nobody knows about it, how it has been impacting them, how they have been using 8 to 12 or 14 hours of digital media use. That's what. I tried my best to help that young boy or my friend, but he never came to me. He knows me for years and years. But now, with some inputs to my friend and to the grandmother, at least he's been able to give exams, and at least he's appearing. That's the good news I can say. Now, one more thing I want to highlight with this thing, that just a summary, that with dependency on technology, excessive use of digital devices and social media, it can lead to dependency issues and it affecting their ability to self-regulate and manage the time effectively. It may contribute to reduced physical activity, disrupted sleep patterns, and difficulty in maintaining focus, poor school performance. It can lead to challenges in establishing a genuine sense of self and autonomy, low self-esteem, and anxiety and depression. A lot of times, when you see a youngster, a teenager, when you go deeper and deeper into it, you realized that cyber world is one of the leading cause of these mental health issues. That's why people have started talking about cyber psychiatry. People have started talking about how the cyber psychiatry is a new term, a new game, which is coming in the mental health field. Conflict in relationship can amplify conflict, misunderstanding among peers, cyberbullying, online harassments, pressure to conform to unrealistic standards set by social media influencers can strain relationships and contribute to social anxiety. Will I be able to achieve like that? Will I be able to achieve so much money? Will I be able to perform this much? That self-pressure. Exposure to inappropriate content, cyberbullying, online predatory behaviors can lead to psychological trauma, post-traumatic stress symptoms, post-traumatic stress disorder. All these things have been, and phobias, I've seen happening in the young adolescent. And finally, the deprivation of the real world experiences, the connection, empathy, skills, all this is, and an ability to form meaningful face-to-face relationship. This is what is coming up in this Gen Z or Generation Alpha. Now with this, always, up till now, I've talked about how it has evolved. I've talked about advantages, the challenges in the adolescent, in this generation. Now management. Now in management, it looks simple, as a professional, but I can say only one thing before I talk about the management. Is a lot of patience is required. A lot of patience. That's the one thing which I've learned after working with thousands and thousands of adolescents and with my 2 daughters. Patience, patience, and patience. And that also with a smile. So these 2 things are very, very important if you want to get success, or if you want to have some success or partial success, and if you want to move forward with the adolescent and young people. So first thing is that provide adolescents with comprehensive education on digital literacy, including understanding online privacy, recognizing misinformation, and practicing responsible online behavior. And this does not happen in one day. It has to be an ongoing process. 12 years, 11 years, 13, 14, 15, talking on the dining table, talking while walk, talking on the vacation, while drive, going on the restaurant, whenever you get opportunity. And that sort of open communication, encouraging that open communication between parents and adolescents about their online experiences, your own concerns and challenges. Don't just wait for a teenager to share their challenges. You also have to share your challenges. You also have to share what you're struggling in the technology world. And this I learned. So when I used to share my own challenges, I used to get better answers from my teenagers. I used to tell to the adolescent who used to come to my clinic, I struggle like that. They used to tell me, and they used to tell me the solution and then their own challenges. Be truthful. Never pretend they can catch you. So this sort of an open communication where there's always truthfulness is there, a genuineness is there, sharing is there. That is important thing. Role modeling. Remember, you can't just preach. Teenagers are very smart. You have to lead by example by modeling positive digital behavior. You can't talk about saying, okay, don't eat chocolate and you're eating chocolates. You can't, it's not possible. You can't tell them to be truthful and then you are speaking lies. No, it's not possible. So you have to lead by example by modeling positive digital behavior. You also have to have digital literacy and respect the digital world. Healthy screen time habits such as parents, educators, community leaders. If you're telling them don't use phone at the wild time of dinner, but at family timing or while we are on vacation, so you also have to be off digital. You can fix a time. Okay, half an hour, we'll do it after the lunch or half an hour after dinner, or unless there's a very emergency call from the hospital, I will take the call. Otherwise, I won't take a call. Absolutely. Your child will accept it. Teenager will accept it. That's what it is. Along with that, healthy screen time habits. Promoting healthy screen time habits by encouraging adolescents to balance their online activities with offline. And this is one of the important things. Encourage physical exercise and hobbies, because this is the one which breaks it. Otherwise, if a teenager is sitting in the house, then the online activities and the e-world is the one which sucks them into it. So involving them into various activities. And that is what the parents have got the success. Last year, when I was in NCPC as a chairperson, in one of the, we had me and Dr. Bhushan Shukla, we organized on this internet and other various challenges. So one of that teenager and daughter of a doctor, she shared that the one thing which really worked her was when she got connected to the wildlife, when she got connected to the nature and nature group. That was the only way she was able to check it out. That's the one thing. And one of them said that I was able to use some apps to check me and I was able to come out of it. So encouraging that balance between the online and the offline activities, that helps you. Digital detox and mindfulness. This is very, very important. Promoting mindfulness practices and periodic digital detoxes to help adolescents develop self-awareness, managing stress, and foster. And one of the practical way which I've seen digital detox personally and which I recommend to a lot of clients, and it works, is that taking a one-day break in a busy life, once a month, or once in 2-3 months, just going on the weekend and just plan it out. And those 2 days off from the world, digital world, nothing will happen, mark my words, nothing will happen. World will not stop, correct? So in that way, that is the time you're able to connect with each other. You're able to detox yourself. So these are the sum of digital literacy education, open communication, being a good role model, healthy screen time habits, digital detox and mindfulness. And then rest comes the peer support program. This is somewhere has to be developed in the school or in the community or through online communities, providing adolescents with a safe environment to share experiences and receive support from their peers on issues. So last year when we did that, so those young girls and young teenagers, they shared that when they became part of 3-4 in the part of that group, they were able to share how they were struggling, because they were reluctant to go to the counselor, they were reluctant to go to the psychiatrist or psychologist. And when they started sharing, they were able to hold each other. And then they got alternatives to stop that. And finally, they were able to come out of the excessive internet use. Simultaneously, we also have to enhance that use technology, but as a tool for self-expression, by creating the digital content that reflects your interests, passions, values, blogging, vlogging, podcasting. So any teenager who comes to me and the parent says, I never stop them, I say, fine, let it be. Let it build their interest, passion. Maybe that is what their career is. But simultaneously, I try to emphasize that let's work on this current moment. If you have 10th class boards or 11th exams, let's clear it and simultaneously pursue your passion into it. Also, cultivate critical thinking skills among adolescents by teaching them to question, analyze, and evaluate the information they encounter online. This will only become if you have an open communication with the teenager. This will only happen if you talking to them on the regular basis. You can't have an authoritarian parenting and just talk to them on one day. No. The teenager does not get close to in one day. I believe it's more even difficult relationship than even with your spouse, building a relationship with your teenager. I believe it teaches you. They can bang on your face, they can slap on your face, they can talk anything on your face, they can just make you think why you have become a parent. But then you have to hold them, contain them, build their trust, win their trust, and simultaneously listen to their world, and then analyze along with them, evaluate with them, and that really helps them. Then they can think and talk to you anything. Simultaneously, then the part comes as a mental health thing is that we have to make sure that adolescents have access to crisis intervention resources and hotlines for immediate support in case of online harassment, cyberbullying, and other emergencies. We have a lot of crisis intervention resources, and that's where we need to promote it so that they can access it with a lot of confidentiality. And if still they're struggling, then they should be encouraged for mental health support. But a lot of teenagers are reluctant to take mental health support, but still we have to make sure that they get support for excessive screen time, cyberbullying, online harassment, and social media induced anxiety and depression. A lot of materials are available. We can circulate them. We can have a display in our clinics, and we can have a support group for them in the clinic, run a support group in the clinic. And simultaneously, we can do a lot of community programs, and then we can say that the mental health help is available. Please do take access. Please do take help. That's what. So, in the nutshell, the way forward is that enhance research and awareness to understand the impact of digital technology in adolescent. Still, a lot of research is required. New names are coming up, and the latest one is cyber psychiatry. Integrate digital literacy into school curriculum and community program. I believe the school curriculum and community programs are one of the best ways which can help the adolescent without having stigma, with the knowledge and skills to navigate the digital world safely, responsibly, and ethically. Parents, yes, parents are very busy. They are very, very busy. And, but parent guidance with the resources and support to help them to stay updated and navigate digital parenting challenges has to be done. A lot of school workshops has to be done. Workshops in community has to be done with RWA, with community, with Rotaries, with Lions Club. All those workshops have to be done in the hospitals. And a lot of times, parents don't come for these workshops despite doing as much as possible. So that's why the school can make sure that whenever they have a parent-teacher meeting, whenever they're about to release the report card, before that, I've seen that's the time the parents are able to sit for at least 1 hour and then able to listen to a professional. Empowering adolescents to advocate for their own rights and well-being in the digital world by providing opportunity for them to participate in digital activism and youth-led initiatives. And finally, we need a collaborative effort between the parents, educators, mental health professionals, because it's not one person responsibility. All have to work, including policymakers and technology companies, because it's a world of AI, and AI will not stop. As I just told you while I started my presentation, at around 7:58, the government of India released 10,000 crore rupees package for AI just now. So it won't stop, but we have to work together to develop these holistic solutions to address the challenges adolescents face in the digital age. I will just summarize by saying that we need a lot of awareness. We need to teach them. We have to teach them the balance to generation G, or your generation Alpha. We have to teach that the generation the balance, and the important part is the communication and the connection. I believe with awareness, this communication and the connection is the most important thing in this whole paradigm, which can really win you. And this I saw with my own daughter when she was appearing for the 12th board exams 2 years back. She didn't study for a board exams. I shared this in last conference also. And she said, why I should study? I got already admission in the New York, in the Ivy League college. Why I should study for the board exams? There's no point. Why CBSE I should study? I was so tense. My wife was so tensed. The only thing was which I can say was the communication and the connection with my daughter. She finally got 87% and she finally went to the Ivy League college. And I'm so proud of her that she's doing well. But yes, the main thing which saved us is the communication and the connection with a lot of patience and smile. So that is what I'll say is that is in pixels and screens, challenges loom and adolescents navigate this digital room. Thank you very much. Let me end up with this slide, which we would have seen many times, that how a teenager need to be helped in today's world. They will not ask for the help, but still we need to help them. But a lot of empathetic, a lot of patience, and a lot of smile. Never get frustrated, because that will never give you any answers. Win them, you will get the answers. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and thanks for this patient listening. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful presentation. You can, sir, stop the screen share and over to chairpersons for their opening remarks.
Yeah, Dr. Deepak, I'm sure everyone in the group would accept if I say that it was lucid presentation, and it was a very comprehensive presentation, not only enumerating the negative aspects, but also the various positive things, as well as the challenges which we can address by incorporating the family and also the other stakeholders like school. I get the point from your talk that it has to be at multiple levels, individual level, family level, school level, and you emphasize the importance of the school mental health issues. So taking the points from these, I think now I request Dr. Fabian to initiate if we have any questions to take. I mean,
Yes,
discussion.
I think a wonderfully outlined multi-pronged approach from awareness, action, intervention, all of that, Dr. Deepak. It has been a wonderful evening. With the questions that we have, I think let's take what Dr. Anuradha Kalra has asked about how to deal with the age group of 3 to 8 years. So if you could emphasize about that, and I think Dr. Vishal and Dr. Om, we can keep screening the chat box for questions.
Yes,
While
Dealing with 3 to 8 years, I believe it's more easier, but not easy. It's little easier, but not easy. Why still that autonomy has not come? It's still that adolescent and the teenage thing has not come up into them. So what is required for the age 3 to 8 is a discipline at home. Simple. If there's a discipline at home, and that is the founding stepping stone. Plus spending a lot of time with your child, playing together. If you're a 5-day parent, Saturday, Sunday, go out. Don't stay at home. Because in today's world, if you're at home, you only have this. That's all. Nothing else. Your mobile, your screen. So go out of the house. Spending time. Play zones are there. So talking to them. So if you're able to regulate and fix a time, I always tell them. I even tell to the parents, if you don't believe me, read WHO guidelines. What are the WHO guidelines? April 2019 says. I tell them. So in that way, you're able to gradually fix a time, half an hour or 1 hour in a day. I tell them, okay, keep half an hour in a weekdays, and weekends you can make it half an hour, two slots, like that. So but lot of activities. You can't leave a child this thing, because they will tend to. And even simultaneously, make sure if you're at home, make your time. What time are you using your mobiles? Don't be on the mobile continuously. While dinner time, while playing time, while spending time. So these things, it becomes like a digital culture. So that digital culture has to be created. And if this healthy digital culture is created, then only you are able to have a stepping stone for a digital adolescent. who will be able to take it forward. Otherwise, he won't. Otherwise, he won't. I have 3-year-old, 4-year-old using 8 to 10 hours who comes to me. 8 to 10 hours, 8 to 12 hours. You know, and they come with so much of difficulties that it becomes so distinct. They said we were not aware of it. We just thought it will be convenience. Because of convenience, it became a pattern. But that convenience has rewired their brains. That's what is happening.
Dr. Deepak, I hope you wouldn't mind if I add a bit here.
Please, sir. Please, sir.
In fact, in little experience which I have had, it is more difficult to work with younger children because they just stereotypically go into the digital activities. Whereas in adolescents, sometimes some of the adolescents you can have a dialogue, you can initiate a dialogue, and then you can make the adolescent to participate in the discussion, and then probably you can get across to him and her and then help them. And there are some more questions in the chat box.
One thing I just want to add to that, your answer is right. Only in those parents I face challenge, where parents themselves have these emotional difficulties. Where the parents don't have emotional difficulties, one, they have a lot of insight. Two, they want to help their child. Three, then there's no difficulties I've seen. Then, but they themselves going through a lot of marital conflict, family conflict, sexual issues themselves. Then the child unnecessarily becomes the scapegoat. And in scapegoating, what comes is the digital dependency. This is the way it lands upon the child, young child.
Deepak sir, if I may add a few comments here, what you're saying, I fully agree. Suppose when we take up a child as a child having a problem, ultimately what it seems in maximum cases, most of the cases, it is a systemic problem of the system with whether it's child, their parents, extended family, and it is manifesting on the weakest link. The system, there is a crunch, there is a crisis. This crisis is maximally represented in the child, which is the weakest link, which can manifest as behavior syndromes, all the things, and including screen addiction.
Perfect.
So I think whenever we start take care of child, it is only we are taking care of the family. So as you said, that if the parents are fighting, so the one of the best starting point of child management is how you are managing your marital life. The parents are managing your marital life. So if you are able to have a healthy relationship between the spouses, then the child is likely to fall in right places. So I think that is one thing. That is one general comment. Now, I hope everyone will agree with this. One specific query that I got was, whenever I start discussing with my child, the child goes in the mute mode. So ab kya kare? Not engaging.
So very practical problem. It happens. The only thing is that don't force it. Don't feel pressure to break that mutism. Very clear. Now, if you feel pressure that you want to do it today, you can't win the Wimbledon in one day. Very clear. Nobody can become Roger Federer in one day. Very clear. So you have to gradually groom the child. Gradually. Sorry, I'm using the word grooming from the bad, not I'm using it in a very positive context. You gradually work with the child. You gradually, sorry, Vishal, 1 second. You gradually win the trust of the child. You don't start lecturing. You don't have to, आपको एकदम से ज्ञान नहीं बांटना बच्चे को, एक 5 साल के बच्चे को एकदम से. पहले उसको जीतो तो, अपना तो बनाओ पहले. Very clear. Involved in various activities, play activities, tell the stories. If a little good, you cook with him, take for a walk, and then slowly introduce a concept. Some children, they pick you very well immediately. Some children take time. So you have to respect the temperament of the child. That's why what Thomas and Chess absolutely divided into very 3 types. Absolutely. Some children are very easy. Some are easy to difficult. Some are very difficult. So you can't expect. Absolutely. So we also have to look at own childhood. So when I tell to the parents, अपने बचपन को याद रखना जब अपने बच्चों को सिखाते हो, है ना, वो मत भूलना अपने दिन. Correct? बस फर्क ये आ गया कि अब टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई, तब टेक्नोलॉजी, लेकिन तब भी पेरेंट्स तंग होते थे, अभी भी तंग होते हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। बट फर्क है टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई और कुछ नहीं, और लोगों के वैल्यू सिस्टम थोड़े डिफरेंट हो गए हैं। पॉइंट ये, तो इसीलिए दैट्स व्हाई व्हेन दे मेक म्यूट, दैट मींस यू नीड टू वर्क मोर हार्डर विद योर चाइल्ड, हैव मोर पेशेंस, मोर स्माइल, work, and gradually both the parents has to work. Maybe he knows he can, one more important point, Ali, you're talking about systemic, thing. Maybe he knows to get mute with father. He knows because he will get his piece of cake with the mother. So that's where there may be differences. So he knows with whom to play the trump card. That's what happens a lot of times. That's what, if I'll be mute with the father, mother will come and save him. She'll be the savior. So these, all the, this family dynamics has to be looked into it.
Absolutely, I agree, sir.
Dr. Vishal, please.
Vishal,
Sorry.
हाँ नहीं, आई थिंक यू आंसर्ड इट मोर देन, मैं यही बोलने वाला था कि इफ चाइल्ड इज म्यूट इज प्रॉब्ली बिकॉज वन ऑफ द टू फैक्टर्स, वन ईदर यू जस्ट वेंट डायरेक्टली एंड ट्राई टू बॉस अराउंड विद द चाइल्ड, ये फादर आ गए हैं, अब मैं तुम्हें बताऊंगा बेटे क्या होता है जिंदगी, और लिसन टू मी, माई ज्ञान, एंड चिल्ड्रन आर नॉट गोइंग टू डू दैट. So the best is to break ice with them. In today's world, you have to make your children your friends. I think this is very important. Go out and have activities with them. And then if you want to give gyan, then they'll respect you and listen to you. So ek to ye baat hai. And second, you said you very right. It is part of the politics. If parents are having politics, then the child also plays the part there. That's exactly what you beautifully said. I think ye dono point mujhe bolne the. Thanks. There are some questions more. Ali boss.
Yeah, Vishal, bhai, one question. There are some very high achiever parents who come to me. Both the husband and wife are hot shot, big shot doctors of Lucknow or surrounding places, and they are having these problems. Now, all their energy was invested in setting up their clinic, setting up their practice hospital, and now the child is not listening to them. He or she is very angry and does not share anything with them. In fact, one parent was in tears. She even curses the parents, and very normal and very extremely normal with the colleagues and everything. So in such cases, how to go ahead?
आपने आंसर दे ही दिया बॉस. I think because they were too busy, not giving any time to them. Now she's
So
he
ऐसे
or
केस
she.
में क्या करता हूँ, what I do is that because it's now a difficult raw situation. Now parents, they're doctors, they've invested their years, and the child is having a battle with their parents. Now one thing we can tell them, okay, nothing will happen, please go, and you have to bear the cost, whatever is happening. That's one answer. But I've never done this in my practice. So what is important is that is work on the parents, because that is very important, is that work on their emotions. So I involve my team who work on the emotions of the parents, who work on the emotional regulation, and how to approach a teenager, or how to approach without confronting anymore. How it can be what we call NVC, non-violent communication. How it can be they can reach. They can reach, because whatever happens, still I tell them, you are the parents. You will have at least 1% edge always. Correct? So never lose the hope. After working with difficult families, I can say that, and after working with so many tough families, with affluent to affluent families, what you're talking about, Dr. Alim, is that yes, you can. I remember suddenly one of the same in Haryana, one of the very famous doctor, built full empire, came to me with his son. Same thing. The son said, I will kill my father, I cursing and all those things. He has never given time. I worked with him for a few years. And then after that, he left me. The father also left me. He said, nothing is happening. Something is happening. Suddenly, I was catching a flight and I get a call. He said, you remember me? I said, yeah, no, I don't remember you. He said, now I'm a Supreme Court lawyer. You remember you worked with me for many years? My father, oh, yeah. He said, now I want help from another friend of mine. So my point is that working with that particular population and creating slowly hope with an empathic perspective, That is what I've seen works is there. Along with that, wherever if use of psychotropics are required, you take advantage of psychotropics, but only if there's some syndromal diagnosis is there, something is there, then only. Otherwise, no use.
In case where Dr. Alim has given an example, I think probably the pharmacotherapy may not be required because, as you
Yes.
rightly said, probably we need to work on families. And I think consistency in parenting styles, differential reinforcement, encouraging small achievements, being slow, and probably spending too much of time in developing rapport with the child itself probably may help, in my opinion. Probably the pharmacotherapy may not be required.
So my friend whom I gave you the example while I was presenting. So I told my both the friends, one is a very big surgeon and another, she's a infertility expert and a very this thing in Delhi. So I told both of them, okay, you take a space, you take a back space. Bring your mother inside. So I had a conference call with her because he didn't wanted me to come home also. Because he knows me from childhood, that young boy. So he didn't wanted me to come because he doesn't wanted to meet Deepak uncle because he knows if Deepak uncle comes for a dinner, then he will talk to me. So no dinners were placed, all dinners cancelled, all lunch cancelled, neither at my house, neither his house. So I had a conference call with them. I told, you take a step back, just sit outside, have patience, keep a smile, and just give your blessings. And keep on holding each other as husband, wife, hand of each other, and support each other. Let and bring your mother inside. Your mother supported when you were in MBBS. She will take care of your son also. And then gradually, and I told them how to communicate using the right words, taking out their own frustrations. And simultaneously, gradually, we have reached to the point. Day before yesterday, I got a message from her that 13th March, we will meet for a dinner because that's the morning of the last exam. So I hope some good news.
Another important point I would like to mention here, sir. Probably the siblings can be utilized. I mean, we can use them. I mean, I have seen in my practice that if you involve the siblings and take their confidence onto your side, I think probably we can.
And there the elder sibling works. The younger sibling does not work.
Correct.
Like in this case or in this example also, the younger one is also paying for 10 board exams. She's a very simple, sincere girl, working always 12 hours, 14 hours a day. Correct? Only books. But if elder sibling is there, that is always my trump card. So I always use, always use the elder sister who can really help. But only point is that the elder sister will only help if she would have developed a relationship. And that's what I did with my own daughter. So when my elder daughter, my younger, Vishal knows both the daughters very well. So, so my younger daughter, when she didn't study, I involved my elder daughter. She says, why you're forcing me? I said, beta, you can say some good, kind words. I can just request you, beta. So at night around 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night, and that is the time when they get awakened up, and that's the time they used to talk at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And sometime when I used to get up in the morning for a meditation, I used to see they're going for sleep bed. So that is what you see. So that is where the elder sibling can be really helpful. Dr. Sai is very right.
Dr. Deepak, I would like to have your feedback about this. We have students who are in the 6th, 7th, 8th standards and they are having their Instagram accounts. Now, is there something that we try to advise them that you don't need an Instagram account till you finish school? But is there something to validate this? How can we ensure that they do not go this line? Because later the choices that they have and they make creates more problems and complicates issues. What would you like to say in this regard?
So your point is that about the Instagram accounts, correct?
Yes, because later they say, I cannot delete my account, doctor, but I have stopped using it. So how can we check about this trap?
See, Instagram is quite in, and the reels and Instagram is quite in, and so as per the law, we can't we can't stop a 16 plus 16, 17, 18-year-old. We can't stop it. And so the point is that, and it's very addictive. So the only thing is that, and we know also in the month of January, 42 states in USA, filed a $1 billion sue against various company for how provocative and how addictive content these various groups have developed for these 13, less than 13 and 13-year-old, and how they're getting sucked into it. And it's a big case which has been filed. I don't know what has happened up till now, but it's been just filed. Billions of dollars of case in US by 42 states and with a lot of parents. So the only thing which I say again, Dr. Dr. Febin, is that the same thing comes to up, is all those things. Creating that, yes, first telling them that can we postpone it or not? And if we are not able to postpone it, the only thing is to create a balance. That's what is that. But the balance creating is very, very challenging. That creating a balance is very, very challenging. So important thing is that if you are able to have a good communication with your teenager, along with other things in the platform, in the buffet. So the other things are there in the buffet. There are activities, physical activities, other play activities, other things are there. Vacations are there, outings are there. Plus, you are a good role model are there. Plus, you have a good communications are there. Then you are able to. But peer influence is very, very strong. Very, very strong peer influences are there, which really want to suck them into it. So a healthy digital culture at home is the one thing which can make you stay, or which can help you to validate, because that's what they will try to see you. That if you are what you are saying, do you stand on that? If you stand on that, please.
So there is a related question in the chat box by Dr. Anuradha Kabra.
Yes.
Creating no gadget zone at home helps. Example, not using gadgets in bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. So your views on it?
Absolutely. But the point is the consistency, Dr. Alim. The consistency is very, very important. So if you're doing for a few days, fine. But then it has to be that every time you're on the dining table, no phones. Absolutely. And everybody has to be motivated to do it. You and your spouse and other people in the house, everybody should be motivated to it. That's clear. So even in the bedroom, so you have to create that zones, or, so it is very helpful. There's enough evidence. So there a lot of people have talked about how the digital literacy with no zones is helpful, but then the consistency is very, very important.
Okay, thank you.
It works if you're able to do it.
So there are a few questions
Please.
in the chat. And there are a few interesting comments also. One comment was, while I'm attending this, my 7-year daughter is saying you are using phone again. Now share your data. This is interesting.
Dr. Nachiketa asked about role reversal. When the kids know more than the parents because of all of the social media, then how does the parent deal with it, that the parent is not the final answer about things?
Sorry, which question?
Dr. Nachiket,
Uh,
about this role reversal of parent not
in
knowing
digital-
enough because
digital
social media empowers the child, or the child knows much more, and then the parent feels probably insecure and not able to deal with that situation. Any inputs for that?
Yes, absolutely. Accept it gracefully. That's what I say. See, if your teenager knows more than you in certain aspects, appreciate him and accept it gracefully. Correct? Validate even
Exactly.
that. So that is the in thing. Simultaneously learn from him or her. Because there's so many things they can teach you about gender, about culture, about religion, about what is happening, about what are the dark stories, what are the deep stories are there, what is not the major headline stories, what is the offline stories. They can tell you. Listen to it patiently if you have patience. But you should have patience and time. So accept it gracefully. And then once you're able to be part of it, then you can preach it back or you can teach it back. That's what. Don't go into power. And why you should go into a power struggle? With whom? Your own child? Why? I don't know.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
Absolutely.
Very good take home.
Absolutely.
Do not compete. Do not compete with your child.
Absolutely. If it's some displacement is happening, you can't help. That's why a lot of times, a lot of work has to be done on the parents before we start touching the children and adolescents.
But Dr. Deepak, this happens actually. No, the parenting template we have learned, it is such a market change from what we have been brought, the way we are brought up, and now how things are. I think a lot of people get confused. So they feel because our parents asserted authority on us, either physical or mentally, we should be able to do the same. And doesn't work out this way. I think a lot of people get frustrated, even doctors get frustrated because nobody's teaching us the parenting skills. No, we have to learn on their own. I think this becomes a problem. So maybe if you can briefly in few lines tell what is the best way to parenting, these days. We already hinted on it, but if you can, summarize and tell, I think that'll help in answering some of those questions.
A, B, C, D, E.
Okay.
A, appreciate your child, acknowledge your child, attention to the child, and affirmation to the child. A. So if you give a lot of affirmation to your child, if you give attention to your child, small things, if you acknowledge your child for even failures and success both, appreciate your child for putting efforts, that's what child is looking for. Correct? So, chahe kuch bhi ho jaye, you're always there. That's what.
Right.
One. Second, B. That's important thing is that believe your child. B. So believe your child means you're believing whatever talent, potential, ability he has. That means you're not comparing your child. You believe your child is this. Whatever God has given you, if you believe in God, whatever God has given you, this is your child. Whatever intelligence, potential, ability is there, you can still carve him to reach his highest potential. You can still make him whatever he can be. Simple. You don't have to suck into whatever is that, okay, like this. No. Everybody has their individual niche. Everybody has their own abilities, whatever they have. Absolutely. B. And C, important thing is, which I always say, is communication and connect. शुरू से उनसे connect रहो, चाहे physical activities के through, चाहे अपनी sharing your own struggles in your school days. Always share your own struggle days. Don't tell you only glorifying days. Tell if you would have been abused, tell that also to your child. If you would have been bullied in school, tell that also to your children. Nothing wrong. They should also know what you have gone through. And share with them how you coped it, how you fought with it gracefully, what went through you, what made you reach to this success. Be transparent. That only will happen in communication and connect. D, now it is important that digital education. We have to educate them about the digital world slowly over the time. That's very, very important. And E, which is the last point, important point, eating healthy and exercise. So these are the A, B, C, D, E, which they are my own A, B, C, D, E, which really helps. You won't find in Google. So this is what I have made over the years. It works very well. You can try different combinations and permutations with it and work with it. I can talk about this ABCD in depth more and more. There's so many examples I can share within ABC and DE, and which really works fantastically. But a lot of patience and pleasure. No pain, pleasure and patience.
Thank you, sir. Many questions in the chat box. I think we should.
Shalini Anand, if we could take that.
Yeah, that's a good sum.
Vishal, would you want to acknowledge that? Shalini Anand.
Yes,
Please read out.
There's a question by Dr. Padma. Is virtual autism a real condition? I don't know. It's not part of this. Do you like to comment on it?
Yeah, see, but so it's not there, but yes, it can be slightly associated with this talk. Virtual autism, a concept came even before COVID also, but in COVID it became more prominent. And the thing is that the people who are virtual autism, if you start take them off completely off the screen, give them stimulation, within few months you start seeing them drastic improvement. So that means they are not true autism. Very clear. Very clear. So within 3 to 6 months, 4 to 6 months, as the brain start getting again rewired, we start seeing changes in them. That's what is there. So this is what is the virtual autism concept is that. But the true autism will not show that much improvement, will show, you can see the other features coming up, other trajectory coming up. That's what is there. So that is what the virtual autism versus there. And the reason which has been for the virtual autism is excessive screen time of 8 to 12 hours or 8 to 16 hours in 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old, 3-year-old, that 1 to 3-year-old using almost 8 to 12 hours of screen time, leading to social communication deficits and the brain getting rewired. That leads to various virtual autism.
Should I
The
take
Ravikant wants to. Teen is so adamant and stubborn that he or she threatens to kill himself when the screen is taken away, or when the screen we try to control it. So how to go ahead in such cases?
Yeah, I think what is important in such is the age. Look at the age of the child, adolescent, and see whether it's almost fulfilling the criteria of internet addiction or the gaming addiction. And then we have to assess the young person for other comorbidity also. And if it is quite morbid, then we have to put him almost like in the treatment of the internet addiction or the gaming disorder. That's what looks to be to me. And if the other comorbidity is there, that has to be treated. So here, if it is becoming so morbid, so morbid or so pathological, then it has to be treated like a. And that's where 2022 classification came up with internet thinking is that. And that's where. And a lot of good work has been done by Dr. Manoj Sharma, from Niman's Shut Clinic. People who are interested, you can read about its eight sessions plan is there. About it, 8 sessions plans about the internet addiction. A lot of successful results. I've attended his presentation personally. I've communicated with him personally. Full 8 session plans are there. And he has presented a lot of good paper. Anybody wants that article, I can forward it. You can go through it and how they've got success, a good success in this, and without pharmacological interventions.
Okay. So do you want me to take the Shalini Anand question, Dr. Fabian? You were saying, should I read this?
Please take
Yeah,
up. Please
read
take
it.
up. You don't.
So Dr.
Please.
Shalini, she asked, would it help to see it as a flight reaction from some emotional distress? I don't know, what does she mean by it? Is it reaction? Maybe this is a question to some interaction we were having. Would it help to see it as a flight reaction from some emotional distress? And instead of treating the symptom, treat the cause. That's number one.
I think basically she wants to ask some other distress is converting to excess screen time.
Displacement, maybe you were saying, maybe this is in question to displacement. I'm not sure.
Maybe it is pertaining to the some of the discussions which we were having at
Yeah.
that time.
So maybe Shalini ji, if you can put the question again so that we understand the concept.
There's a second part to the question also,
The
which is
second part
interesting.
is, would the mental health professionals' own beliefs and attitudes like these days, the adolescents are this, affect the treatment more than the words we say? So she's saying to look inside and she's asking us, are our own attitude towards adolescent affecting the treatment?
What I could understand, I think 2 things. Yeah. So yes, she has mentioned, yes, flight roughly like displacement. So as we have talked about, I think every family is different. We know every family is unique. Every family has its own system. And so we have to, whenever we are working either with our own family or with others' family, we have to identify the individuality in the whole family. And then see what is exactly leading to what, as we have talked in various examples. And then try to work on the various systems, either simultaneously or one after one. That's what looks to me. Yes, as a professionals, sometimes our own prejudices, our own biases can come in the way. We have to be very, very careful of that. And that is what we always learn from our own practice in our own seniors and teachers. We have learned that don't bring your own prejudices, own biases into your work. And that usually comes up a lot of times. So we have to be very careful and mindful that we keep our prejudices and biases separately, inside. And yes, experiences do matter. We can always learn from our own experiences. So all these things contributes, and that's what I think I could understand from this question.
There are 2-3 questions, but the gist of those questions is, how do we remove our children from, because there's a lot of worried parents here. How do we remove our children from mobile addiction, or how do we go about it? So some may say asking in terms of maybe neural network, How do we unwire our children? How do we help them go away? I still remember मैं DPS गया था. This is the top question. 3 times I went to DPS for parents. This is the top question. How to make, how to take away a child's mobile phone, and he or she doesn't cry and get agitated. How do you do that? So yeah, any tips from you, Dr. Deepak?
First of all, why we need to take a mobile away from adolescent? That's my question. Why? We got this mobile. We the big markets, every year one iPhone is launched with a mega sort of a release. People keep on looking forward for 9 September or 11 September. What date, Dr. Vishal?
Yeah, someday, some February.
9th or 11th September, people have forgotten about the 9/11, but they remember the launch of iPhone every year. 15 is gone, 16 is coming, 17 is gone. What watch, what this is there. Everything, they look forward for that. It's such a thing is there. So my point is that the marketing gimmick has become so much sucking the adolescent brain, we can't take it away. Only thing is that we have to teach them. We don't. We have to teach them what can be done in a right way. Absolutely. What can be digested, what cannot be digested. That's where the digital healthy world is there, important. So along with that, we also have to make sure that physical healthy lifestyle also has to be inculcated. And this cannot happen in one day. This cannot happen in one day. This has to be done. You just can't snatch away a chocolate from a child's mouth and say, don't cry, please. I will eat it. You can't eat it. No, it will look good for one day, but it can't be for this thing. So you have to make that culture. Unfortunately, we want easy solutions. We don't have easy solutions. Right. I wish there could have been a pill for this also, but there is no pill for this. So it is a lifestyle. So I never say to any teenager or any parent to take away the phone. Never have said, including my own daughters, including my any staff or any children. No, it is part and parcel. It is part and parcel. Homeworks are given homeworks are given, projects are given, everything on that. Everybody is involved is that. You can search whatever it is there, but teach them healthy lifestyles of digital literacy. That's what I believe into it.
So, Aleem bhai, how do you manage? Aap batao na. Share your experience. Maybe we all can share our experience.
Yeah, just one question from the chat box from Saurabh. Parents say that their parents never required any tips on parenting. Still, the children grew up well. So now, why do we need to learn parenting for our children?
Very clear. Now, see, we never had, our parents never did. There were no parenting workshops were there. But still, some children had difficulty. I still had difficulty in my school. It was not there. In 80s, when I was in Xavier's, I had a lot of difficulties. Though I passed out as one of the remarkable students of the Xavier's, but still, I had a lot of difficulties. Nobody was bothered. All the events happened in my life in the school campus. That's okay. At home, outside. But simultaneously, what I want to say is that now the world has changed. There's a lot of evolution has happened. So either the parents themselves upgrade themselves automatically, or somebody has to upgrade them. That's what I believe. So if parents can, some of the parents, they upgrade themselves automatically through groups or through talking, through attending certain webinars, through listening to these things, or some of them take professional help, or some of them are taught through parenting classes or parenting this, which they don't attend, a lot of them. So in that way. So unfortunately, one parent attend, other parent does not attend. When the other parent attend, she goes and tell to her husband, आज वो एक बंदा आया था, वो आया था, छोड़ो यार, उसने ये बताया, नहीं, बहुत काम की चीज है, नहीं, ये तो पता है हमें. So point is that हमें नहीं पता. अगर हमें पता होता, तो शायद हम वो कर चुके होते. है ना? हम नहीं कर पा रहे. So that is what is there. So that's why parenting, learning from others is not bad, but learning the right things is very important. So I believe that today's parent, one more thing was there. Before, the parents had a lot of tolerance, Dr. Aleem. बहुत सब्र था, बहुत संयम था, प्यार था, अपनापन था, मिठास था. Value system अलग थे. 50 साल हो गए दिल्ली शहर में रहते हुए, दिल्ली को 50 साल में बहुत कुछ देखा है, तो बहुत कुछ देखा है। तो मेरा पॉइंट है, पुरानी दिल्ली से लेकर नई दिल्ली तक, साउथ दिल्ली से लेके ओल्ड दिल्ली तक सब देखा है, बहुत चीजें। तो मेरा पॉइंट ये है कि बहुत अलग चीज थी। So so my point is that that's why we need these workshops, and it is something good to learn, and that's why you say you don't need to learn to unlearn a lot of things. So
And
whatever
there is also,
so we have to
yes,
unlearn.
please.
Absolutely.
There is an interesting offer of a workshop that should be learned by adolescents for the parents. So that is
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, क्या लिखा है एक पिना? Yeah,
Role reversal. Great, we should think about it. Just another point to ponder, very often I'm sure we've seen in our own clinics, we want to talk across to a caregiver or to a patient, and they have an adolescent with them and they are asked to sit down, and we will notice that the parent will give the phone, ye leke baitho abhi niche. So sit across, we initiate the phone with them for giving them the time that we can't give them. And then it becomes the problem that we can't handle. When I noticed this also in my own clinic, we started keeping stock of comics and books and color pencils, etc., for these adolescents to use. And we do not allow the caregiver or the patient to give the mobile to the kid to pass time. We offer these valuable options. So are we guilty of not giving enough options to our adolescents, and therefore the mobile becomes the most unconditional thing for them to go to?
So
Absolutely.
Vishal bhai, we were asking, my understanding is it is a systemic problem. If a child is brought to you, then you have to work on the personality of the parents, uh, in rather detail, in some detail of the other persons, the temperament of the child, then their interactions. Then you have to take care of what the school is happening, what is happening in the school, what a school counselor is doing, and then the general milieu that the sort of peer pressure, what sort of things are in. Suppose now they are watching Korean band or all these things. So if you are aware of this, if you are able to work up a case better, I think your chances of improvement are there, much more there. And then, as Deepak was already said, it is a long term, it is a test match, long drawn process. And when people ask me for tips, I said there is no tips. It is a long drawn lifestyle change for you, for your family, for everything. You have to uplift the system so the child is better.
Thank you. Yeah. I was asking also in terms of a personal, like Dr. Deepak was sharing experience from his personal life. This is what I was trying to say. See, because I have 2 boys, and I also struggle because I'm a lot on the computer, and a lot on my phone. And when I tell them to lecture them कि छोड़ दो, they say, "Papa, आप तो छोड़ते नहीं हो. मम्मी आपको कह रही है आप नहीं छोड़ रहे हो." So how do you? So I think this becomes an important thing for us to learn, and you have to be humble. You need to eat that humble pie and know that everything you don't know, like the way the kids learn computer, the way they know the nicks and how they go around this is amazing. So there's no harm, I think, like Dr. Deepak, to learn from them, utilize them. They may be intelligent. I teach किस time में तुम दोनों smart हो गए, but wise मैं हूँ because I've seen the experience. So that nobody can beat, The amount of experience Dr. Tofan has, no matter how many patients I see, I cannot compete with him because he has that experience of much, much more years, So he will obviously come across something which I have never come across. So I keep telling my kids, and I think this is what I try to do, to be friendly, but at the same time, like to get their respect, we should know where to play. Like आपकी अगर मैं आपका test match वाला example हूँ, you know which ball to pick for a hit, and rest be a little defensive where you have to be defensive. I think, and learn, I think, on the way.
Thank you, sir. So any take home, any last points from Dr. Deepak?
Last point,
Any final?
I think what suddenly came to my point is that I think if this has not been done, then what should be as an IPS initiative? there should be a practical handbook should be made with around some few experts working in this area who are really working in this area, and then a practical tip book should be made, and which should be released and the pharma company should distribute across the country, and those flyers also should be made something, and that should be displayed so that at least we can create more as a mental health professional, because pediatric community and adolescent health specialists, they're already doing a lot of these things. So we only wait for the disorders to happen, and we should not. A lot of preventive work should be done by us also. So if because now you all are holding a good prestigious post also now. So I think so, and you all are the futures in future days. I think let something should be done in that way, and that should be taken forward according to me. And I'm always available for that. If you think I can be part of that humble group, I'm absolutely there for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
And
Dr.
once again,
Fabian.
thank you for inviting me second time. It's always great and pleasure to honor. And thank you, Dr. Tufan Bati. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Fabian, any words from you?
I think start simple, start from where you are, and make a small difference, but the ripples will be for us and for community. We all have a role to play.
Great.
Thank you. Tufan sir, over to you for the final word.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Deepak Gupta, for your exhaustive presentation, and it had a lot of insights. I am allowed to share some of my experiences. In 90s, I had a school mental health program in which I invited 2 teachers, designated teachers from all schools. It was a national program. I had Dr. Jack Rajkumar, who is now in Australia, who is a close friend of mine, as a participant. We devised a plan and gave it to these 2 teachers. Out of 62 schools who were invited, all of them came because the program had a lunch and elaborate books were given. But the core group we could form involved only 5 schools. Nobody turned. I have attended the parent PTC, what you are telling, parent-teacher meeting. They are so much hurried to give the cards. They are not prepared to spare time. The school children's strength is more than 800. Sir, we will meet another meeting. And whenever they have held, they bring everyone, parents, teachers, students, everyone to a common platform and ask them, tell something about mental health. The scope of deliberation reduces. This is my experience. Anybody who has attended 2007 IAPP conference, we had a whole day program on school mental health, adolescent mental health. And only one college, RCM, got benefit out of that. They developed a program in which Dr. Shastri and Dr. There is a local doctor here, pediatrician, if they participated. So the response of the schools and parents is little slow. Number one observation. Second observation I have. Socrates in those days told that children are tyrants. We are telling that also now. If we are criticizing children, which I never do. Thing that has happened, which has made parenting being the topic of discussion, is that the cross-generational gap is widening. And that is because of the knowledge dissemination. When I was a child, we had very good garden in our house. No gardening discourse was required. Nowadays, following all YouTube guidelines and having 2 servants, we are not able to have that garden. So that is, parenting is the need of the day because of the situation has changed. And there is nothing that it was not a problem. It was a problem at the time of Socrates, it is now. And thus, the basic thing which I always argue, we cannot deprive the children of the telephone today. And yesterday we told, you take the mobile phone, you take the laptop and read. We cannot contradict ourselves. It's impossible. Any regulation, when the screen time told, you are telling that you read from that. Your teacher is telling you read from that. Now you are telling you read, only use your mobile phone to read and not to play games. Whenever parent comes, I first see show me your screen time. Often the screen time at the mother is more than the child. So we have to, what I mean to have, all of us can be single soldiers in this crusade. We have to have an integral concept of what is happening around and think that our children are everyone, and it is a responsibility of ours to take care of the future. Taking care of a child is taking care of our future, the country's future. Thank you, Dr. Deepak Gupta, and thank you, the chairperson, Fabian. I know he is brilliant. Dr. Vishal is brilliant. And Dr. Shai.
So Dr. Sai had to leave
Just
for a
left,
meeting.
just
So
left.
he just left.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
And,
Thank you very much.
and thank you, Alim, for nicely moderating. And thanks, Torrent, for the sponsorship. And thanks all the participants. It is quite happening. I did not have any question. I just wanted to give some inputs. I have organized many school mental health programs since 1990s. And in a state like Odisha, it is very difficult. School dropout rate in India is around 20% if you take the non-governmental statistics. In Odisha, it is 40%. And we are not covering those children in our discussion anyway. And they are the targets of the antisocial groups. And they are more computer savvy than us. Okay. But it
Thank you,
is
sir.
our responsibility, Alim's responsibility, Dr. Deepak's responsibility, Pavian's responsibility, Vishal's responsibility, and mine. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank
Good
you.
night,
Good session.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.